Hey everybody, welcome to my book review. I chose to do my review on The Martians in Your Classroom book, STEM in Every Learning Space by Rachel Mann and Stephen Sanford. This book drew my eye because it really caught my attention because of the word STEM in it. That's been used a lot throughout, the school district I work in and with friends that are teachers. STEM is really evolving, and it just drew my attention because I want to learn more about what STEM is and why it's important. So after reading this book, my introduction is that the main theme to this book was the pursuit of STEM learning. The title explains the subject matter, STEM in every learning space. So STEM is science, technology, education, and mathematics. So these authors are really trying to explain the importance from their different perspectives of how important STEM is to be implemented in every student's learning space. So Rachel Mann comes from the education teacher perspective. She was a technical education teacher, and she founded Teach Like TED. It's a foundation that provides teachers, students, and leaders with tools for presentation literacy. And then Stephen Sanford kind of gives his perspective from more of like the space technology engineering perspective, and they both collaborate on ideas and resources for teachers to really open their eyes to how important STEM is. The thesis of this book is that educators and the students in their classrooms are the only ones who can prevent us from losing our nation's technological leadership. We as in educators can solve this by implementing STEM learning into every learning space. To back my thesis up, I found a quote in the book that I really think that it just drives the point home for the book, is that America depends on its technological leadership for security and health and a healthy economy. So I think that it's important that if educators don't educate themselves about science, technology, engineering, and math, that we will continue to have a shortage of these teachers that are qualified, which results in fewer students that even know about this area of learning. And it's important. I know that when I went to school, I never was taught, STEM as it's being taught today. Like STEM learning wasn't what it was called. I mean, we learned things like science, we learned, about technology and saw it grow, but and engineering, I didn't learn about engineering. And math was just, a basic requirement, but it wasn't implemented like STEM learning is today. So it's really important that we continue to educate ourselves on this content. The summary of the book is basically that the book starts out with Rachel's story and her passion to connect science, technology, and engineering and math to education. Basically, just connect everything to education. I mean, even though science, technology, engineering, and math are all subjects in education, I think that the STEM learning concept is a different approach. The book follows by telling Stephen's story about his experience with technology and scientific background. So these authors are just both advocates for STEM learning. They encourage educators to invite wonder into their learning space, basically. Like, instead of knowing the answer to things already, really think about questions that make us wonder and that we may not have the answer to, really allowing our children to and our students to think about things rather than just, Google, let me just type it into my Google search, really think about why things are out there and what space is about and things like that. The analysis and evaluation of the book that I have is that the authors do a wonderful job at framing ideas about the hows and whys to STEM learning. So many times, throughout school, I was like, why am I learning this? I'm never going to use this again. Or, why am I sitting here through this class of whatever it is, math or statistics, and it's like, I'm not going to be teaching this to my third graders, but it's important. And this book really opened my eyes to how important these subjects of learning are. And in today's world, it's a mandate for modern learning. Like, it's a must have in today's society in order for us to keep our technological advances going. because the students in our classroom are the future of of humanity, and so it's important. This book gives a great easy to use. This book gives great easy to use ideas of how to incorporate space and exploration into education. So there's so many resources throughout the book overall that was very insightful, and the authors really provide a lot of resources for teachers and educators to turn their classrooms or space in their classroom into a space where STEM can be implemented. This story makes a point about that educators should be challenging the minds of these students with hands-on learning experiences that will spark ideas, which then become inventions. I have a quote from the book that kind of drives that idea home, that this book lays the foundation while challenging the status quo in education, like social norms and things like that, and providing a plethora of resources to support the reader in incorporating space in every learning space. So it's important to, this should say STEM. It's important overall, basically, STEM, and it's not only important for students to learn, but it's important for educators to teach. So, in conclusion, while reflecting on the book, I gained a lot of information that I wasn't aware of about STEM. It really gave me a perspective that I never really gave much thought. When thinking about that, my future students that will be sitting in in the chairs in my classroom in the future will not only witness colonies on the moon and Mars, but they will explore these new frontiers and pave way for humanity. It's just such a deep quote from the book that drives this whole concept home for me. This book dives into how students are experiencing vastly different ways of learning, and ways that information is obtained is evolving so fastly. Preparing these students for the future of technology and education is crucial to the future of America and humanity itself. I would recommend this book to anyone looking for useful information regarding STEM or interested about space. They have Stephen really provides a lot of interesting facts about space and the history of space, and also a wide variety of like I said, STEM resources for teachers and educators to implement this space in their classroom. So I hope you enjoyed my book review, and I hope you all look into reading The Martians in your classroom. It was a really good read. Thank you.